Hello guys, so for today I'm going to be showing you how to do a more detailed Coptic cross. We use it in the celebration of Palm Sunday. Usually the priest uses the cross during the Palm Sunday service for the Vespers and the Mass or the liturgy. I showed you before in the previous videos that I made how to do a cross, but the one I'm going to show you today is going to be more detailed. It looks much more nicer. Unfortunately, for today's video I do not have any palm leaves, so I'm going to be using scrap paper that I have made into leaves. Okay, so to start off, all you need is the single knot. Okay, so if you have seen the previous videos, you have known how to make it, but you need approximately 16 of those. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make it. So basically you start off with your blank piece of paper, or if you're using your palm leaf. Okay, then you bring another piece of leaf, a small one, to the back. Make sure it covers from side to side, so it covers one side, flip it, covers the second side, then the top one, or you're gonna close it like this. Okay, and to make sure the knot is closed, you're gonna thread it through the opening. Okay, after you do that, you pull on it, sure it's nice and tight, and this is your simple knot. So like I said, you need 16 of those. Now each side of the cross, from the one I'm making, I chose this pattern. I have here pre-made ones. Okay, so this is one side of the cross that I'm doing. Okay, so as you can see here, starts off with a knot, a trapezoid, two trapezoid knots facing each other, then another knot. That's gonna be each of the sides of the cross. Now we can do different patterns. Some people do like 4 of these trapezoid knots. Some people doing facing the opposite side like this, but I like this pattern. Okay, you can play around with it. So I'm gonna show you how to make the trapezoid knots and how to put each side together. So I showed you how to do the simple knot. Now to do the trapezoid one, you also need the simple knot, and you start off by taking it sideways and using the face front. The face front, the one is to have the one single pocket sleeve. The back is the one that is threaded through. Okay, so start off with the front. So take one side, you bend it like this, front. Okay, that's one side of the trapezoid. Go around. Okay, make sure it's nice and tight. You bend it again like this. Now the piece that you bent, you thread through the front like this. Okay, hold on it. So here is one side. For the second side you do the same thing but on the opposite. So again you bend it again on the front like this. You go around, you bend it over again. Okay, and so you thread it through. Okay, and you snip off this part. Okay, it's gonna look something like this. So that's your trapezoid knot. Okay, so after you have your first knot, okay, so this I'm going to show you. So after you have your first knot, okay, you thread the first trapezoid knot. Okay, so you thread it like this. Make sure the back of it is facing the first knot. Okay, so you thread it like this. Okay, this one goes in like that. Now you put the second one facing it like this. So again, you thread it through the opening. Now with paper it could be a bit tricky because it is very flexible, but with palm you shouldn't have any problems, because palm is much more harder and it's easier to work with. Okay, so here, thread through. Okay, try to make the trapezoid knots about the same size so it looks much more better. Okay, then you finish it off with a second, with the last knot. So you take another one like this and you thread it through. Okay, so that's the side. So that's gonna be the right, the left. That's your sides. Now for the top, you're gonna do the exact same thing like this, but you need another knot in here, okay, to make sure, so you can set up your center one. Okay, so let's use one of the knots that I made from before. So here I'm using second knot that I'm threading through. Okay. Okay, and this center one, so this second one is gonna be critical because that's gonna be my base for the two sides. So here we have one on top, one knot, two trapezoid knots facing each other, a second single knot, and a third single knot. That's gonna be my middle. Now I can thread. So now my other two sides, so I already made these, so here's my two sides. So now I can thread them through like this. Okay, so here is one side. Oops, I put it through the wrong knot. Should have put it through the bottom one. That's okay. By the way, before I put the at the end of the video, you can find a link to a YouTube video that shows you the different styles of crosses that you can make. It's based on this simple one that I'm showing you, but with more decorations. Okay, so I'm gonna thread this one through. Okay, so this is through like that. So you can see here, this is my side, one of my sides that I'm making. Now I do the same thing with the opposite one. Okay, thread it through the center again. This one I might just snip a bit because the paper that I made might be a bit too wide. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna put it through the center one, or my third knot. Okay. Bring this closer. There you go. Now, to make sure that I have everything tight, nice and sealed, I will thread these through like this. I'm just gonna thread them at the bottom through the cross like this. Thread this one bottom as well. Okay, so just pulling things to make everything tight. We'll thread this side. Okay, so I can pull and make sure it's nice and tight. There we go. Just threading everything through. Make sure the cross is nice and tight. Okay, you can see here, after we thread everything through, you can see here the cross is coming. So this is the shape of the cross. Now for the base, let's add in the fourth side. The fourth side is going to be threaded in like this, okay? And we'll just top it off with more single knots to make the base. Okay, so let's thread this through here like that. Just flip it, much more easier if we work from the back. Like that, nice and easy. Okay, just threading the different parts in to make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, so that's in. Let's thread the last rhomboid. And like I was saying before, if you are using palm, this will be much easier for you to use. Okay, and through the last knot. Okay, so now we have our cross. Okay, we have 5 central knots in the center, the 2 rhomboid knots to each side, and finished off with this single knot. Now for the base, we can add 3 more single knots, which I will show you how it's done. Just add them just to make the base. So you can see here, this is the final product of the cross. I have snipped off the sides and I have added some more knots to make the base bigger. So this is the cross right there. Now a different design that you can do is, instead of doing a knot, 2 rhomboid knots, then a single knot, you can take out these single knots at the end here. You can take out this one, and this one. Just have one center one. So, and if you do that, okay, all of them will come together. All these signs will flesh together, so the cross would be, wouldn't have these spaces. So this is your Coptic Cross. Hope you enjoyed it.